Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Brethren of the Coast. We are your hosts. I am Damnation-n-Hellfire, and with me is Drizzt. Say hi to the people, Drizzt.
Hi to the people, Drizzt.
Today we're going to be going over some different ship builds for the upcoming raid, Rising Shadows. We'll be mainly talking about ironclads and cannoneers, and we will also be going over different tactics to approach the targets. Um, Basically, what this show is going to be doing from here on out, every 2 weeks or so, we're going to come out with different episodes on ship builds for different tasks in the game and how to approach those targets. We're not going to be doing the news and updates that you see in the other shows. There's several other shows out there that do that, and they do a fantastic job of it. We're in no way trying to compete with them, just add something a little different. Was there anything you want to say on that front, Chris?
No, I'd just like to go ahead and just say thanks to the other shows for all the hard work they do, and like Damnation said, not competing here, just trying to offer some very focused, specific information on the topic at hand, which is Rising Shadows.
And I would also like to give a big shout out to Battle Vortex and the Battle Pirates Crib for helping us promote our show. We definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up to both. Thank you very much for your support and your help.
So I guess we'll get right into it, and we'll start out with my ironclad build that I plan on using for this upcoming raid cycle. As you can see, this is pretty much a basic ironclad build. You know, I have 6 Mauser cannons on it because I really like the splash that the Mauser cannons give. I've added 3 Millennium cannons on it to help out by buffing single target DPS. And I've also put 1 S cannon on it to give me a little bit of a speed boost. Armor plates, I have 2 D2Rs and 1 D4R. I really like high radiation resistance on my build because once I get my bloodthirst going, it allows me to pretty much ignore those big turrets that are in the middle because I can get hit full on by that thing, and the damage it does to me is extremely minimal. Like 71s, which are basically just the 3 big radioactive turrets, I can do them pretty much all day long for very little repair. I also have nuclear accelerators on to obviously give me extended ballistic range. I have speed system 5. You know, speed is good. I have high velocity rounds. I have CL3 for ballistic and radioactive defense, and siege battery 3 for turret defense. For the high velocity rounds, some people may not have high velocity rounds. I found 2 specials that can go well in place of that if you do not have them. Is the drum reloader. I especially like that one if you're not at max rank because it definitely helps with your reload, and Mausers can take a while to reload. And you also have the option of siege targeting 3. I think that is also a very good one because it ups your building damage. So yeah, and this is a very good build. I like it. This is what I plan on using. I was fairly successful with it last raid. I didn't have the high velocity round, so I used drum reloader last raid, and I did pretty freaking good with it, I have to say.
Yeah, man, you did. I especially like the splash 200%. That's really going to help those Mauser cannons. The building and wall damage is 684 plus. Man, that's almost like a one shot on these turrets that you're going to need to do.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I really like about this particular build too, several of you might have seen my video that I put out, that I can do a dub with this particular build, and if I use a pinch, I can do it for under 10 minutes worth of damage. So you can go out and get all kinds of uranium with just one of these as well, and that'll allow you to roll tons of crews for the upcoming raid. So I personally think this is a pretty good build overall for an ironclad. Some people might want to tweak it a little bit, you know, like some people might want a little bit more ballistic defense in their build. You know, they might think, well, hey, I take a little bit more ballistic damage than what I'm comfortable with in these targets. So you could, you know, change out some of the R panels for C panels for a higher ballistic defense, and, you know, it would still work very well. I personally, myself too, I think one of the big important things in this raid is the crews that you're going to use. I am a big fan of what I personally do is I put demolition squad on the fleet that I'm actually hitting with while I'm in combat because it gives me, great defensive bonuses. And then whenever I pull back into my dock to repair, I have a slot that I have the grease monkey in, and I use that for the half repair time. And like I said earlier, that particular ironclad build, the way it is, you can get tons of uranium with it, and that allows you to roll tons of uranium to get these crews that you need.
Yeah, crews are going to play a huge part in the success of Rising Shadows. And these two crews are probably going to be the best two you can use.
Yeah. I mean, there are other crews that can do okay, but yeah, I would just from now until the start of the raid go out, farm as much uranium as you can, and roll these crews, and you will see your success level really shoot up there.
Yeah, you will. You sure will.
So, you had some Cannoneer stuff you wanted to go revisit?
Yeah, I sure do, man. I am going to be using Cannoneers in the Rising Shadow campaign. I used 3 last time in the January event. I did not have the Harlocks Cannoneer. This time I do, so I'm looking forward to trying that. Didn't have the Millennial Gun. I didn't have the High Velocity Rounds, which now I do have all that stuff. So I am excited to see how this fleet is going to operate, especially in the Tier 6 targets. That is basically going to be the fleet I use. 4 Cannoneers with 1 Harlock, all built exactly the same, all sculled and ready to go. If you look at just the standard build that I've got all Millennial cannons except for 1 S cannon. Mainly did that for weight. I've got 1 panel of DC5 armor, 1 panel of D3R, and 1 panel of D2R. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake or not, to be honest with you guys. I probably could have trimmed the D3R down to get the other Millennial Gun on it. And with the way I plan on driving these targets, I may not have even need the DC5 panel. And we'll go over that here in just a second when we're looking at the tactics of the targets to hit. But, my specials are exactly the same as Damnation's. Siege Targeting 3, CL3, Nuclear Accelerators, High Velocity Rounds, and Speed System 5. I did have debated on whether or not to use Speed System 5. I at first had planned on using Agility System 4 for the stun resistance, because the Cannoneer has a negative 50% stun resistance. And the Cannoneer was also supposed to, the stacking effect was supposed to give you an extra 15% combat speed for every Cannoneer that you had in your fleet. So the way I calculated it, without Speed System 5, I was going to be up in the 60s. Stacking ability right now in the Cannoneers, not really, I won't say it's not working. It's unpredictable. So I have chosen to get rid of the Agility System 4 and go with Speed System 5 on this. Now, here's my Huggies build. If you put this fleet in Huggies, and I've chosen just a regular Cannoneer instead of the Harlocks. My ballistic defense is 92%. Radioactive defense is also 92%. See, that's where I think that I probably messed up with the C panel. The total DPS, ballistic DPS numbers are great. So I should be one-shotting everything except for the big cannon in the center. I feel pretty confident in that. Combat speed is right at 56 without the stacking ability. So I've got plenty of speed. I've got they're sculled, so I've got plenty of reload, and I feel confident that hopefully they'll do well. Now, guys,
one of the, if you can go back to your Cannoneer build real quick. One of the only things I personally might have done a little bit different was instead of a D5C panel there, maybe put like a lower C panel, just because I am not a big, huge fan of something that adds a whole lot more repair time to my builds. And
Yes.
when you start getting into the heavier armor, you're definitely looking at higher repair times.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
just something for people who might have cannoneers but are working with limited coin in the raid and they want to spend a lot on repairs, just something you might want to consider.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And I will probably, to be honest with you, try to evaluate how this goes during this race event. And I would say I'll probably take that D5C off and go with something, maybe even a D3R or a D2R, and pop another Millennial cannon instead of that S cannon. Is probably what I'll wind up doing. But we'll just see how the raid goes. But that's what I will be working with in this raid. So
And that's pretty similar to the build that you used in the last raid format, correct? Or, I mean, this past raid.
well, the only thing that is different, yeah, high velocity rounds, and I did not have the Millennial cannon. I used the Mauser cannon.
Okay.
Last raid, so I had to refit all my ships with the Millennial cannon.
And you actually did really well in the last raid, because I know not only did you do your raid, but one of our alliance mates, you helped him a whole lot in his raid, and you even got to the point where I kind of ran out the coin at the tail end of the raid. So the last 16 million points I needed to get on top of the 90 million I had gotten by myself, you helped me, prep out some stuff to get those. So yeah, you did really well with this build in that last raid.
Yeah, I was extremely happy with the way the last raid went. I got everything I needed and was able to help my alliance mates out. So yeah, it was good. I'm expecting definitely good things this raid.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, on to some tactic slides, guys. Sorry that all these are drawn on. I like a moron. I did screenshots of the targets last raid, and I drew on them without just saving them as plain. So sorry about that. But what I did, I drew my pattern out the way I drive them, and I know Damnation's pattern is completely different. I think you can hit a different pattern in these targets and still be successful. But this is just the pattern I use, which is one of many options. So I come into almost every, this is a tier 5, level 71, 73, and 75 we'll look at first. I always come in the top left corner. And then I come, as you can see, I come down and I hit this platform right here. That's got I believe that has one of the long range ballistic turrets on it. And then I come through here and I start firing on the big turret. And as I swoop up, there's another ballistic turret that pops up. Now, those ballistic turrets do some heavy damage. However, the reason I said previously that I would get rid of my ballistic armor is if you attack that turret, it pops up and you have almost 3 seconds before it fires. You have plenty of time to kill that platform before it even fires at you. And the rest of the damage that we see in these is just strictly radioactive damage. So if you know where these turrets are, these ballistic turrets don't even really need ballistic defense, in my opinion.
I know I myself hitting these with ironclads, I come in a little bit differently. I come in at the south, basically where that southernmost orange circle you have there is.
Yeah.
That way I can hit those buoys and get my bloodthirst right away before I even get into any kind of combat.
Right.
I just go further north and I circle around that first turret there, and as I go around, I pick off the cannon in the middle there, and then I pick off the other turret, and I just kind of circle around that until it's dead, and then move up to the one on the right, circle around that till it's dead, and then move over to the last one and kind of circle around that till it's dead.
Yeah. So that's a big difference in the cannoneer build or the hull and the ironclad hull. If you're using the ironclad hull, you've got to get that thing to bloodthirst as quick as you can, and that's a good thing with the buoys. If that's what they're called, that's what I call them, buoys. In these targets, is they do count towards your bloodthirst on the ironclad. Come in very handy. The only issue I had last raid was with this particular target. I probably with my cannoneers took more damage in this target than I did the 73 or 75 combined. And I really think part of the reason was my driving. And I got better at these targets as the raid went on. I knew where and where not to click because open water wasn't always open water. It looked like the skin didn't match the footprint of some of the platforms. So you would maybe get caught kind of weird. Your boat would get stuck for a second, and that would give the big turret time to hit you. So I'll be more ready for that this month. I hope that's kind of been corrected. But yeah, with the Mauser cannon on the cannoneer last time, I did not get any splash bonus. So we're watching Damnation hit these targets. He could maybe circle them once. I had to circle them sometimes twice to kill them because I wasn't getting any splash. I wasn't getting the amount of damage with a Mauser cannon on the cannoneer that I'm very hoping I will see with the Millennium Cannon. So that's a 71. That's kind of how we hit him. Of course, Damnation comes in from the south. I come in from the top left.
I'm not sure, but I think we might have a technical issue. I think it might have stopped streaming over in the YouTube part. I'm seeing an error occurred. Please try again later. I guess there's kind of not a lot we can do about it at this point. I guess we'll just continue on and post the video up later.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. We expected, this being our first episode, something weird would happen. So anyway, we'll keep right on going. This is a 73, and I think on the 73, everyone came into the same spot. Kick spawned you in the upper left-hand corner. And to me, this was my favorite target, personally, of the three we hit last month. Of course, the drawing on the screen looks a little zigzaggedy, but I would just come down and try to skirt the lower part of the target.
What was that? What was that word again?
Skirt.
No, zigzaggedy.
Oh, zigzaggedy. That is actually an English word.
Is it?
No.
I didn't
Zigzag. Down through the target. Come over in this area. When I got rid of these, I would go for the big turret in the center, get it dealt with, and just clean up most of this stuff. You can easily kill at max range. So sometimes you would, with my issue, I had to go back and forth this way to kill this because I wasn't doing quite enough damage.
I think the only thing I did a little bit in this target with the cannoneers, or with the ironclads, I mean, obviously I love that little wall that you come in, that you hit when you come in. I get bloodthirst right away. Before I get into anything, I get bloodthirst. So, and then I basically just kind of similar to you, run around the outside edge and but I actually get all the little turrets before I come back and hit the big turret, because with ironclads, like I said, that big turret does not really nothing. So I can pretty much really ignore that till the end.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. 75. And here we go with another zigzaggedy drawing. I did also on this target. I came in the upper left-hand corner and made a straight shot to this area to get rid of that ballistic platform right there. I immediately almost did a U-turn to get back on the other side of this pop-up wall before it actually popped up. And then I would come down and kill this 3-turret platform, scoot around and get this one, then get this one, and just kind of make a big circle. I almost did like a big corkscrew on this target, always circling in to get to the center target, the center turret. It's basically how I drove this thing.
I'll be honest, As many of these 75s I hit, I don't think I ever really had a pattern for them. I think I just kind of went in at different spots all the time and just kind of like willy-nilly drove around in them and killed stuff. The one thing I really did like, though, was this had the cluster of turrets, and with the ironclad with the Mausers, that splash really came in handy. Now, like, I know for myself, it has that little stun effect on the tower when you kill it. And for me, I always found that if I would come in and they have that little radioactive tower that like spits out flechettes like nobody's business.
Yep.
That actually, even as high as my radioactive defense was, that thing kind of jacked me up a little bit. So that was always the first thing I targeted right away. And when that died, it gave me the stun on all the other turrets on there, which gave me enough time to kill them all without taking any more damage on them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so, those little turrets with the flechettes, they did cause a lot of pain.
Yeah, and and so in that little cluster of turrets, it might be beneficial to target that firstly and make that your primary target, and you'll kill like 3/4 of the other turrets while you're killing that one anyway. So
right. All right, that should be, guys. I apologize. I do not have any pictures of Tier 4 set. I don't. If you plan on hitting Tier 5, if that's what you're going to be going for this raid cycle, there's 71, 73 pattern, and a 75. And that's all contingent upon Kicks not changing these targets, which I don't personally think they will.
Well, yeah, I don't think anything. They could potentially maybe up the damage just a little bit, I guess, but I'm not here to spout out tinfoil hat theories. I'm just here to say, hey, these are your targets, and this is the best way we found to deal with them.
Yeah, this is how we approached them. All right, now Tier 6 tactics, and these are pictures from the VXP weekend.
Yeah.
So again, no way to know that if this is what it's going to be or not, but this is what we were told, and this is what we're going with. As far as I understand, most players came into, and I had the most success in these targets if I came in around the 2 o'clock area on the map. And this is that ballistic turret that I was talking about before it's actually died. If you can get that thing quickly, it'll never have time to fire. And whether you're using the cannoneer or you're using the ironclad, you should have enough time and enough speed to attack those turrets before they fire at you. And they're kind of weak as far as their defenses, so one shot will more than likely kill those things. But that's what that turret looks like, and that's what you need to hit first. Now, here is a decent pattern that you can go for. Now, the ballistic turrets that you need to kill as soon as possible are at 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock on this target and surround the large radioactive turret in the center. So if you come in at around 2 o'clock, you're going to kill the one at 3 o'clock first. And then you can position your boats between the big turret, but far enough away just to skirt it. To skirt those. Those are those small turrets that spit out some radioactive flechettes. And just go in a clockwise manner around the big turret, and be sure you target the ballistic turrets at 6, 9, and 12 as you go around in a clockwise motion. Kill those real quick so they don't hurt you, and just keep corkscrewing in around the big turret. Now, I would imagine, and correct me here if you think different, Damnation, but I would imagine that the projectile speed on that big turret is going to be pretty fast. In these Tier 6 targets. So you need to keep max range if you're not looking at bull rushing these targets. If you're looking to drive these targets, and look, if you've got the cannoneer, it's a specialty hull. It takes some specialty driving. That's what you're going to have to do. So just keep max distance on everything. and you should be just fine in this tier 6 target.
I'll be perfectly honest when it comes to the ironclads. I can't add a whole lot into this target as far as what I would do, because even though they were our VXP targets, I just went in them with the sole intent of suiciding. So I never really actually attempted to hit it as a target. So, but yeah, I would say the only difference from what Drizzt said is if you're using the ironclads, you probably have to worry about that center radioactive turret a whole lot less than what the cannoneer users do.
Yeah.
So you can take shots and be like, oh wow, that tickled, So
yeah,
got a little bit more leeway and optional to just bull rush it and go.
Yeah. All right, finishing this target up. This is with all the ballistic turrets killed, also with the center turret killed and all of the small ones around it dead. You've got these little turrets that are on the outside edges of the walls all the way around the target. Those are easily killed at max range, and they won't even fire at you. Just take some careful driving, and you should be just fine taking this approach. So,
cool. So, is that pretty much everything then? I mean,
yeah.
I knew it was going to be a pretty short show, because when you focus just on one thing, it's really hard to turn that into an hour, especially on something like this.
Yeah.
But I think it was very short and concise, and hopefully it gave players some information that can help them out in their raid.
Yeah. Guys, I wish you success in the upcoming raid, and hope some of the things you heard here today will help you out. Guys, please be sure to look at the top of the screen up here. bp.brethrengaming.com will take you, take you straight to our Facebook page. And I know that I post a lot of videos on YouTube. You can find the link there, and also Damnation posts a lot of great videos on YouTube, and you can subscribe to both those channels and keep up with the latest and greatest.
Well, you stole my thunder for the outro, so I'm just going to say bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming out. Tell everybody about us. Thanks.